Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Mainstream Mondays right here on Night Owl Video. Today we are talking about Conan the Barbarian. Now this is the two-disc set. It actually has Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer. We're going to be just talking about Conan the Barbarian today. So I hope you'll stick around today to hear my thoughts on this film, as well as production notes, cast and crew, critical response, all of that jazz. So thank you to everybody who's subscribed recently. I'm now over 460 subscribers, so welcome to everybody who has recently joined my channel. Thank you for your support, and I really do appreciate you following along in this physical media journey, if you will. Today, I was actually really nervous to review this movie because I feel like there's a lot to say about this movie, and I feel like this is a pretty beloved film for a lot of people who grew up in the 80s. But I'll do my best. That's the best I can offer. So Conan the Barbarian is, of course, a sword and sorcery adventure film from 1982, directed by John Milius, who also directed Red Dawn, and he was also a writer on the Dirty Harry film Magnum Force. And he also directed Clear and Present Danger with Harrison Ford. The cast, of course, is Arnold Schwarzenegger as Conan. I don't think I need to tell you what other things Arnold Schwarzenegger's been in. Of course, Terminator, Predator, True Lies, the list goes on. So, but this is one of my favorite Arnie movies, to be honest. This movie also stars James Earl Jones, who was, of course, the voice of Darth Vader in the original Star Wars trilogy. I think he did do voice cameos in the newer Star Wars movies, and he was also in the lovely film Exorcist 2. This film also stars Sandal Bergman, who was also in Red Sonja. She hasn't done any movies. I was looking up her filmography. She hasn't done anything since the year 2003, so I guess she's retired now. But she plays Valeria, who is Conan's love interest and a warrior unto her own right. The synopsis for Conan the Barbarian is: orphan boy Conan, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, is enslaved after his village is destroyed by the forces of vicious necromancer Thulsa Doom, played by James Earl Jones, and is compelled to push the Wheel of Pain. The Wheel of Pain. I'm doing the Dr. Evil thing again. For many years. Once he reaches adulthood, Conan sets off. Well, he's actually set free and sets off across the prehistoric landscape of the Iberian Age in search of the man who killed his family and stole his father's sword. With beautiful warrior Valeria, played by, again, Sandal Bergman, and archers Subutai, played by Jerry Lopez, he faces a supernatural evil. This is, I'll get into my thoughts on this film, but this is I watch this movie probably once a year, if not more. This is one of my all-time favorite movies. This is, of course, based on Robert E. Howard's novelization Conan, character Conan. Now, these are notes. Now, I have not said this on other videos, but I have been accused of reading off the internet, and I just wanted to clarify that I do use Wikipedia, and more lately I've been using more IMDb for getting these facts, or whatever you want to call them, factoids. And the only reason I do that is to kind of make give the review a bit of flavor. Because if I was just standing here saying, I really like this movie, it was really good, I'm going to see it again and again. So that's, some people have said oh, you're just reading off the internet. Not totally. What I actually do is make notes. So when you see me reading off my computer screen, I'm actually reading my own notes based on stuff that I've read on the internet. And I'm sure some of it is not factually correct, and I apologize, but I'm doing my best over here, people, okay? I'm doing my best. I'm doing this for free. I'm doing this for fun. So if you don't like it, I'm really sorry. There are some really great channels. Red Letter Media does great reviews of movies. Minty Comedic Arts also does great movie stuff, although I think that person also uses IMDb and Wikipedia. So anyway, Some of the facts I do read to you are off the internet. Some of them I find on the backs of DVDs and on the commentaries and things like that. But with time constraints and trying to get all these videos out, oftentimes IMDb and Wikipedia are pretty good friends for this kind of thing. So, ideas for a Conan film were allegedly proposed as early as 1970. That was the year I was born. Executive producer Robert R. Pressman and associate producer Edward Summer began a concerted effort to get the film made in 1975. It took them about 2 years to obtain the film rights, after which they recruited Schwarzenegger for the lead role and Oliver Stone, yes, the Oliver Stone, to write the draft of the script for this film. Executive producer Edward E. Pressman lacked capital for the endeavor. In 1979, after having his proposals for investment rejected by the major studios, he sold the project to Dino De Laurentiis. Dino always coming to the rescue. His daughter Raffaella De Laurentiis produced the film. John Milius was apparently appointed as director, and he rewrote Oliver Stone's script. I think this was a bone of contention for Oliver Stone, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he was too happy about it, but although listed as a co-writer, Oliver Stone said Milius did not incorporate any of his suggestions into the final story, and Milius discarded the latter half of Oliver Stone's story. So, but I feel like maybe he was upset by that, which, I mean, rightfully so. Oliver Stone probably put a lot of work into it. Filming took place in Spain over 5 months in the regions around Madrid and the province of Almeria. The sets, designed by Ron Cobb, were based on Dark Age cultures and Frank Frazetta's paintings of Conan. Of course, Frank Frazetta, one of my favorite artists, he also did a lot of the paintings for the covers of the Conan novelizations, and I think he did some for his own books as well. If you don't know Frank Frazetta, go check him out. He's the master of the sword and sorcery paintings and drawings and things like that. Schwarzenegger performed most of his own stunts. And oops, I see now. Now you know I'm reading off the screen because I took the cursor too low. Schwarzenegger performed most of his own stunts, and 2 types of swords, each costing $10,000, were forged for his character in the film. That's pretty cool. I did not know that actually until I started doing my research for this review. Upon release, the film received mixed reviews from the critics and audiences alike. Many mainly positive for its action sequences, production design, directing, visual style, and effects, but negatively received for its violent content and screenwriting, as well as some substandard performances. That's weird. I mean, I guess maybe some people don't like that style of acting. This is early in Arnie's career as well, so his accent was a little funky, and I think that caused a bit of stress for John Milius as well, and I think I'm going to get to that in a minute, though. Despite this, the film became a commercial success for its backers, grossing between 69 and $79 million on a budget of $20 million, so it did pretty good, and this is in the year 1982. So the film earned Schwarzenegger worldwide recognition. Conan the Barbarian has been frequently released on home video, the sales of which have increased the film's gross to more than $300 million by the year 2007. So this film has seen several releases on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, and more recently 4K. In the years following its release, it became a cult film, and its success spawned a sequel titled Conan the Destroyer in 1984, which I will be reviewing, I think, pretty soon. I really like Conan the Destroyer as well, but I recognize that it's, I don't want to say inferior, but it's a different style of movie, and but I do have a sort of a soft spot for that, because I did see this when I was 12 when it came out. And then I went to the theater to see Conan the Destroyer, and I really liked it. And I was 14 at the time, and I was just really into like D&D and sword and sorcery, stuff like that. I didn't play D&D, but I liked looking at the drawings and reading the books and things like that. And this one just came along at the right time. Of course, this was in the era of the sort of big time popularity for sword and sorcery. There were so many movies coming out around this time and later into the 80s as well. I consider this kind of the granddaddy of them all. I mean, you could look at Beastmaster or things like that. They're just not. And my friend Trevor, and I don't know if he's out there watching this, but my friend Trevor, I remember saying way back like 20 years ago, he said, we were talking about Conan, and he did say like this was the last great fantasy movie that came out of like the Hollywood system. And really, I tend to agree with him. I think there probably were a few sprinkled here and there after this, but this was like this had that sort of epicness to it that a lot of movies did before this time and before. And then, you mix in the sword and sorcery concept, just the awesomeness of this. And, I don't know if it ever got it much better than this as far as this genre goes. Just my opinion. But yeah, I did like Conan the Destroyer, but I do recognize it as it's a bit more cheesy. But I actually really liked it. I thought it was a really fun movie. I think Barbarian's more of the serious, and Destroyer's more of the just like the fun adventure kind of thing. The drafting of a story for the Conan film started in 1976. Summer conceived a script with the help of comic book writer Roy Thomas, who had been adapting the character's adventures for Marvel Comics since 1970. Filming started in England's Shepperton studio in October of 1980, with Schwarzenegger made to look like Conan as a king in his old age. And if you've seen this movie, it opens with a scene with Conan with a gray beard and gray hair sitting on a throne. And he's reading an excerpt from the Nemedian Chronicles, which Howard had penned to introduce the Conan stories. That footage was allegedly intended for the trailer for the film, but ended up being used for the opening sequence in Conan the Barbarian. Schwarzenegger trained with voice coach Robert Easton and with Milius in order to eliminate his accent, but their efforts proved to be unsuccessful, as anybody who's seen this movie knows. So the planned narration, which was intended to begin with this scene, was not included in the final film. Yeah, I'm trying to remember who does. I think it might be Subutai that does the narration. Like, somebody can correct me in the comments below, but the three actors in the film, Sandel Bergman, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'm trying to remember who else. Not Mako. It says that three of the actors were given martial arts training ahead of the filming. I guess it must have been Mako. Or am I getting that mixed up totally now? Anyway, it doesn't matter. The three actors were given martial arts training ahead of the film from August 1980. They were tutored by somebody named Kiyoshi Yamazaki, a karate black belt and master swordsman, who drilled them in sword fighting styles that were meant to make them look proficient in using their weapons. They practiced each move in a fight at least 15 times before filming the actual scene. Now that bothers me. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sandel Bergman, and it's got to be Mako? I don't know. Somebody can correct me in the comments below. I did copy and paste that part. So the three actors were given martial arts training. So yeah. Anyway, I'm having like a moment here. I am getting old, and I'm having senior moments sometimes. It's true. The soundtrack was created by Basil Palladores, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, who also did Conan the Destroyer, Red Dawn, and RoboCop. And this was one of the things that, when I first saw this movie, was one of the things that really captured my imagination as a 12-year-old, was the soundtrack. Do, 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 do. It's drum heavy, percussion heavy. It sounds very, very like mysterious and like sort of doomy, and I really like. In fact, the first time I watched this, I had my aunt and uncle. When we finished watching the movie, I had them replay the movie on the TV, and I held my tape recorder up to the speaker of the TV and recorded the main theme off of the film. That's how much I loved it, and I listened to that tape so much. Like, I was obsessed, and I was obsessed with like the Star Wars soundtracks and Indiana Jones soundtracks, and Close Encounters soundtracks, but when I heard this, I was like, ooh, this is different. Like, this is kind of creepy and cool, and I loved it. So Basil Polidoris did a great job. Dino De Laurentiis wanted Conan the Barbarian to start playing in cinemas at Christmas of 1981, but Universal executives requested further editing after they previewed a preliminary version of the film in August. John Milius intended to show a 140-minute story. The final release ran 129 minutes, trimmed to 126 minutes in the United States. I don't know how long my version is, but it's 2 hours and 11 minutes, whatever that is. So I hope we're not missing stuff. Maybe there's like a special edition with all the stuff in it. The United States public was offered a sneak preview on February 19th, 1982 in Houston, Texas. In the following month, previews were held in 30 cities across the country. In Washington, D.C., the massive moviegoers formed long lines that spanned streets and caused traffic jams. So this was a big deal when this came out. I think a lot of people were really excited about this. The critical reception of this film, Roger Ebert called Conan the Barbarian, quote, a perfect fantasy for the alienated pre-adolescent, unquote. The film currently holds, surprisingly, only a 67% on Rotten Tomatoes. This film received very mixed reviews upon its release, and like I said, a lot of people did like the direction and stuff like that, but they criticized the violence and some of the acting. I guess some of the acting is a little wooden when I think of like Sandal Bergman was good in it, but there was definitely parts where, you know, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's accent maybe threw people off. I don't know. My thoughts, I damn well love this movie, and I have seen this movie so many times over the years. Like I said, this was actually one of the first movies I saw on VHS. This and The Thing. Surprisingly, my aunt and uncle let me watch when I was about 12. I was probably a little young for some of the stuff in these movies, but they left a mark on me for sure, because The Thing and Conan are like two of my favorite movies. I love this movie. I have such, and maybe maybe I'm guilty of being a little nostalgic, but I think Arnold Schwarzenegger was great in this movie. I thought he was great in Conan the Destroyer as well. He just sort of, for me, encapsulates that real ultimate badass, like sword and sorcery, hero. Mako was good in it. All the actors were really good in it. Max von Sydow was the father of the princess that was kidnapped by Thulsa Doom. He was really good in it, although he was only in it for a short period of time. There is some really hilarious outtakes on here, bloopers with him that are really fun to watch. The music in here, the violence, which of course turned off a lot of critics. I thought it was awesome. There's lots of blood spilled. There's lots of just crazy action. There's a part where Conan is crucified on a tree and a vulture attacks him, and he just takes that vulture in his teeth and just takes care of business. And like, yeah, it is a little corny, but it's just such good fun. So I highly recommend Conan the Barbarian if you like action movies, sword and sorcery movies, fantasy movies. I mean, this is the pinnacle for me of 80s fantasy. If I think about all the amazing fantasy movies that came out, Dragon Slayer and Dark Crystal and all of these movies, I mean, this is just right up there as one of the best of the best. And I'm not comparing that to those other movies because obviously they're different, but just to say the fantasy genre in the 80s was so good. And for me, this and Conan the Destroyer were just top notch for me. I know a lot of people don't like Conan the Destroyer compared to this, but I just thought it was great. The sword play is really good. Obviously, they did martial arts training, so it looked real. The special effects, I mean, Thulsa Doom turns into a snake, and like the special effects on it are so good. Like it's, you can tell I love this movie. This is near and dear to my heart. One of the earliest films that I saw, actually. I guess I'd seen some movies in the theater before this, but once home video came along, this and The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, were the first two movies I saw on VHS. And so, like I said, this has real special place in my heart. But I think for good reason. It's just a really great movie. Now, this edition is the complete quest, it says. It's got those annoying kids. Do you remember these things here? These little annoying tabs on the side. I think, yeah, this is a flipper disc. So you get Barbarian on one side, Destroyer on the other. I've taken good care of my disc, so of course it is minty and in good condition. I don't know, I guess it probably had a Blu-ray, and then of course more recently it's had a 4K. I haven't heard anything about the transfer yet. I'm gearing up to go 4K here soon, so that might be one of the first ones I get, along with King Kong from 1976, as well as Aliens from 1986. But I'm sort of like, I'm thinking about getting a 4K player because I got a 4K TV now, and I'm thinking about like really curating my 4K so that I have just the ones that I really love and would love to see in high def. This looks fine for a DVD. I don't have any. I've been watching this since what year? This came out in 2006, so I've been watching this DVD for almost 20 years, and it's great for me. I don't have no complaints of this. So yeah, this is the the 2-movie quest, I guess. Some people argue that Red Sonja is the unofficial 3rd movie in a trilogy. It's not actually true, but you know. The special features on here are Conan the Barbarian, Conan Unchained, The Making of Conan, which I've actually watched. That's quite a good documentary. Feature commentary with John Milius and Schwarzenegger, deleted scenes, special effects, the Conan archives, and theatrical trailer. On a side note, the only special feature for Conan the Destroyer is a trailer. So I don't know if that ever got any kind of like special features on the Blu-ray or the 4K, but at the bottom it also says the franchise collection, so I don't know. There's only 2 movies. There is a remake from 2011, which I think was Jason Momoa, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't really like that movie, but I know it also has its fans. But yeah, this one, I've seen Conan out in the wild. If you're a physical media thrifter, you can find this. So from time to time, it will pop up. I don't see this version a lot, but I do see the single disc version, which actually has cooler cover art. I've often held it in my hand and thought about buying it, but then I think I already have the movie at home. I don't really need variations on covers, which would be ridiculous because, as you can see, things are already out of control. So, but yeah, I can't say enough good things about this. You can currently rent this on Apple TV, Google Play, as well as Amazon Prime. I didn't find it streaming anywhere, but I highly recommend this movie. That's my thoughts on Conan the Barbarian. Let me know your thoughts below in the comments below. Consider giving me the thumbs up if you like this review. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. This review went a little longer, but I knew it would because I just had a lot to say about this, and this movie is so special to me. But let me know your comments below, what you thought of this movie. Maybe you thought it was too violent or too cheesy. That's fine too. I respect everyone's opinions. But it is really, really good. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, follow me over on Instagram at Night Owl Video. And until next time, I will see you at the video store or the thrift store or just out and about somewhere. Or maybe we'll get in a time machine and go back to the Barbarian age, and we'll have a sword fight with Arnold Schwarzenegger or something. I mean, who knows? It could happen. I mean, technology is advancing every day, so... But anyway, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.